Everyone, thank you so much for joining us for today's spotlight session on Bentley's Masters of Science in Business Analytics. I am thrilled to be having this great conversation with some of my colleagues here and having you all on the line. I am Emma. I'm Executive Director of Strategic Programs here at Bentley, and I'm joined by three colleagues who are extremely knowledgeable about our MSBA, and I would love for them to get a chance to introduce themselves to you before we dive into a great conversation about the program. Luke, do you mind starting our introductions?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Luke Treveni. I am a professor in the Mathematical Sciences Department, and I teach a handful of the MSBA courses like machine learning, time series analysis, and I am here as the program director for the MSBA program.
Awesome, Luke. And Harsh, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Harsh. I'm from Mumbai, India. I'm currently pursuing the MSBA program at Bentley. I'm in my final semester. I have studied multiple courses such as time series and data science and customer data analysis. And I'm very excited today that I will be able to help you guys answer some questions about the program and and the university. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Harsh. And Michelle, I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Emma. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Wan. I'm an associate director here at Bentley University in the grad admission office. I work with Luke, Emma, to recruit students for our master's programs. And then in today's session, I'll definitely be happy to walk you through the application process later in the presentation.
Awesome. I know, Michelle, often we have folks on the line where that's really what they're curious about. So I do want to point out we will absolutely spend time on how to apply and how we can support you through that process towards the end of our conversation. To orient you to what we're hoping to talk about today, I'm going to spend a little time introducing the MSBA just so that there are some key facts about the program that you can keep in your head as we have our conversation. Then we'll spend some time talking to both Luke and Harsh about the program. Luke, from the perspective of the person that oversees the whole thing, so really understands our philosophy, what makes our program different. Harsh is someone who's actively going through the program and can speak about that experience and what does it mean to be in Luke's class. And so we'll spend some time there. And then we will absolutely spend some time on Q&A. So as we shared in the chat, please share any of your curiosities with us using that Q&A function, and we can spend some time addressing them towards the end of our conversation. So with that, I would love, as I said, to introduce the program just very, very briefly. And so I think often what's really interesting about an MSBA is it sits in a place in kind of master's degrees where there's a lot of different offerings, but an MSBA, especially at Bentley, is offering something very specific. So you might be thinking about a vast array of analytics degrees. You could get a marketing analytics degree, you could get a data science degree, you could get an MSBA, a master's in business analytics specifically. And what I think is really important to understand about Bentley's MSBA particularly is the real point of it is to ensure that you are able to analyze data to inflect change in businesses. And not only be able to analyze that data, but the way you inflect that change is being able to connect it to business problems, to communicate why what you're seeing is important for a business. And so you, within this program, are building both the technical skill set from an analytics perspective, as well as the communication skill set, the presentation skill set, the business mindedness that allows you to apply those analytics in a really important way. You may now be thinking, Emma, why are you being so intense about this? Something I just think is really important is right now within the business landscape, within our frankly our world, we're seeing certain parts of jobs be a little bit kind of changed by something like the advent of AI or other technical tools, right? Literal coding, literal kind of I will leave it at coding we see that AI has some ability to kind of take the place of humans doing that work. And Luke is going to say, Emma, not totally, but we'll talk about that in a second. What our MSBA does differently is it allows you to understand those skills, understand and do technical analytical skills that are at a higher order than that, but then also do the human part of communicating that and being a part of the business process. That cannot be taken over by anything else. And I think, therefore, what we're offering is really important to the business landscape. And we see jobs in this kind of space, in this business analytics space, continuing to grow despite other parts of kind of related fields maybe contracting. And so I do want to point out that Bentley is really perfectly positioning you not only to do this work, but to do this work at this moment, which I think is really important. The reason why I think what Bentley is doing is different, and then I'm going to have Luke and Harsh talk about this, is our degree is highly technical. As Luke said, he's a mathematician. A lot of your courses are going to be taught not by business faculty that are interested in analytics, but rather people who have spent their lives really thinking about the technical side, the technical skill set needed to do an analysis. However, because we are positioned within a business school, everyone in that department, so Luke, yes, he's a mathematician, but he is business minded. His work intersects with business, as does his colleagues, as well as you will be surrounded by other faculty members who are thinking about that as well. So much of your coursework is going to allow you to not only work on the analysis, but think about how do I present that to different audiences? How would I bring that as a business problem? You're going to have tons of hands-on experience. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about that because we believe in a business space. You don't want to do math from a theoretical perspective. We need it to be applied. And because of that, you're really able to be positioned well, as I said, for the careers that you're looking for. And so that is absolutely enough for me. I'm going to stop talking. And instead, Luke, I would love for you to talk about this idea of kind of balancing technical skills with business decision making. And why is that so important to us within our program? And why is that different than what maybe we're seeing in other analytics related master's degrees?
Okay, great question. As Emma said, there's a wide variety of different degree titles as well as flavors of those programs when you look out in the market. Uh, any analytics titled program, that the goal is to use data to get insights, make better decisions, find data-driven solutions to problems. That's the goal of analytics. And at its core, it's statistics. You're working with data, and then when you start doing business analytics, like when those problems are from the business world, you get to bring in business skills, little domain knowledge and expertise that hopefully you build up, software skills, communication skills, and so yeah, MSBA would kind of sit at the intersection of maybe the analytics and statistical tools with all those business skills. And that's exactly what we achieve at Bentley, where the MSBA program is taught by applied mathematicians, applied statisticians, but it's at a business university. It's people who have chosen to have a very business focus to using those tools. So a phrase that we like to repeat is that we're probably a little more statistically focused, a little bit more technical than other MSBA programs in the market, where it could be management faculty or something teaching the classes. No disrespect to them, but no, we're statistics focused in the core, but we're also a lot more applied, a lot more business focused than you would get at a data analytics or even more a data science program where the emphasis would be software tools and coding skills. And as Emma said, I think that's the part where AI is disrupting a whole lot of stuff where entry level positions, entry level skills for coding are not being fully automated away, but AI is making people more efficient, and so there's kind of a crunch in the market there. but absolutely like the communication skills, the problem framing skills, business sense, combining that with applied, like really solid foundational business statistics, that's not going anywhere.
Absolutely. And Harsh, I'm curious, what drew you to come to Bentley's MSBA program? Did any of it intersect with what we're talking about, or what else would you add that drew you to this program?
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Emma. I completely agree with what you and Professor just said. As someone who came from a non-technical background, I studied business and marketing as my majors in undergrad. So I was pretty intimidated by the idea that okay, I'll be doing something extremely technical. Like you guys mentioned, the degree is leaning more towards the technical side of it, the stats, the applied maths, and all the tools that we use to do data analysis. Uh, uh, that said, everything started from the basics. All professors, they introduced us from the basics of any stats application that we were using or any tools that we used. So I would like to add these things as well, even though because sometimes it can sound intimidating. So nothing to worry about that. We will always have these things start from basics of it, and the program is structured in a way where we're moving one step at a time. So we have SC 625, which is quantitative analysis in the first semester. After that, we move to a more intermediate level of stats, and then we finally dive into data mining and time series analysis, which is an even more advanced stage of statistics. So I think the way the program is structured, it's like a proper flow of things. So that was very helpful while I was pursuing the degree. And I would say the clusters, the specializations, which is why the reason why I chose Bentley as my first choice, because you know uh, I was a bit confused in the beginning as to which path I have to hold on to. And so the fact that there were so many clusters and so many specializations and I could mix and match from every one of them helped me really focus on my learning experience and on the skill development part. So that was, yeah, extremely helpful, the different elective clusters that I could choose from. That really helped me expand my knowledge horizon. So that was nice.
Thanks, Harsh. That's helpful. And I want Luke, if you could give us a little bit of information. Harsh is pointing to our specializations, our elective clusters as being something that drove him to come. I'm curious if you could talk a little bit about what are those clusters, how is the curriculum structured, and why do we suggest to folks to consider specializing within this degree?
Okay, absolutely. So it is a 10 course master's. As you see in the middle, there's a 7 course required core. This is where you would learn all the applied statistics, statistical modeling, software skills, and general communication practice, business stuff that I would say is table stakes for any position in analytics. I mean, our goal at the end of the day is to get you a job in analytics. We wouldn't be very good if we weren't doing that. And the thing that kind of moves beyond table stakes is domain specialization, like knowing how to use those tools in a certain industry. And so we have different elective clusters to do that. You would take 3 electives in possibly the data science direction if you want to go a little bit more technical route, but there's also finance. Or the management direction is very good. If you want to be more client facing or interacting more with other stakeholders inside the organization. Marketing analytics is big. Uh, we, we do stuff with health also. Health analytics is huge in Boston. Yeah, and I want to reiterate something that Harsh brought up. This can all sound very intimidating, but our program it's designed to help people launch careers and change careers. So there's a variety of backgrounds coming into it, and the most important thing is to be excited about working with data, learning analytics, and maybe have a foundation in probability and statistics. So there was one extra class, the foundational class, that might be waived if you've taken probability and statistics recently. But that's the entry. So we will start from the assumption that people are opening some of these tools for the first time, and then over the course of the program, we'll get you to the point where you can get a job.
Awesome. Luke, let's go into the classroom. So we've talked a little broadly about the curriculum, but I want to talk about the actual classroom experience. We've talked a little bit about how applied the degree is. Help us understand, what does that mean? We here in higher ed love throwing around terms like experiential learning, and often it's very hard for people that haven't been in this field to be like, well, yeah, every learning is an experience. What do you mean? So help us understand what the MSBA is offering in that space.
Okay, great. Let me actually address two different things here. First, that inside the classroom within the required coursework, the experience is, well, it's very business focused and applied focused, where we're trying to think about how you're going to be using this stuff in the real world and get real skills. So, whereas you might have taken math classes or even stats classes before, where the professor's giving these problem sets, like, okay, number three, go prove the properties of this estimator and blah blah. It's very, you know, theoretical. That's not our approach. It's more just like, okay, we're going to show you how these tools work, have a good conversation about maybe a little about what the idea is, but really just, how do you use them in the real world? And then the deliverables are more things like, hey, here's a scenario, here's a data set, go practice what we've been talking about, and maybe, you could be preparing a report or a presentation. And in my classes, I'll say, hey, you need a written report and your client is a non-technical audience. Like my mom needs to be able to read your results because you have to do the analysis correctly and make sure that other people understand it, who didn't go through a master's in analytics program. Or it could be, hey, we're going to put together a presentation for your technically minded colleagues at your company. So like they have an analytics background, but you need to bring them up to speed with the problem, introduce the data, and talk about the impact. The other side of Emma's question, okay, so that was all in the classroom. Experiential learning is all about just opportunities to get your hands dirty, to practice what you've been learning with real world problems. So in our program, like the program is not just you take 10 courses and you're done. It's an entire experience where we have all types of extracurricular opportunities to get that practice. Real quickly, we have a Center for Analytics and Data Science that this is managed by the Mathematical Sciences faculty, and they've got research wings, consulting wing, a workshop wing where sometimes there are consulting projects where professors could bring on students, hire students to help them with some of the research work. There are workshops that are put on every couple of weeks where we might bring in an external speaker, bring back some recent graduates, to talk about what's going on, maybe a hot new topic. We have companies come in and talk about openings that they have and maybe work through a technical interview case. And just some other highlights. We have a projects course where this would satisfy one of the electives, where an external client, a company, comes in with a big project, and then for a semester, teams of students work on it and deliver results back. And you have the professor there advising you the whole time. You have the safety net of some faculty. And yeah, all the other stuff you would expect. There's a student-run club, the Bentley Analytics Society, that does more informal and social gatherings, bringing back a lot of recent graduates. And yeah, of course, internships, but maybe we'll talk about internships.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Harsh, I'm curious. So Luke gave us a great overview of the types of ways you can learn. I'm curious if there's any specific project from a course that you took that you feel like has been really impactful for you and your understanding of analytics, or as you prepare to enter the workforce.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So, this was I had taken this course called time series analysis, and we were gonna study on how Boston Celtics has improved their performance over a period of time. So, I think that project was really interesting because my teammates, they were highly experienced in data analysis, and they come from business backgrounds. They had a lot of work experience. I as a fresher for that was like a great learning experience for me because I learned so many things from them. And on top of that, our professor Moinak Bahaduri, he was actually pretty helpful as well. We got on calls with him. It was just a lot of to and fro because lot of things we were learning at that time. So I think that project was an amazing experience because Boston Celtics as a team is very much relevant even today. And we had a lot of data available. We went to the trading room multiple times to, get the data set out of there. And just I think it just felt as if we were in a simulation where we were working for Celtics directly because it was being taken extremely seriously by the professor, by the team, and we just had those resources available around us. So I think it just felt like a real project experience. Although I would also like to highlight some other experiences, such as the data science project that we worked on, where in that course we were learning Python through an AI. So that was again a very interesting topic because we had to analyze how one payment system versus another payment system and how are they exactly which one of them is a better choice for today's generation. And that we did that project with the help of AI while also what we learned how to code during the class. So that was like an interesting take. And some of the projects were technical, some of them were highly applied practical projects. So it was a great learning experience overall.
Harsh, you pointed out some really important things in that response that I want to just call out. The
Right.
first is Bentley has so many resources on campus that are leveraged across programs. So Luke talked about some of our centers. So specifically, we have our center, CADS, that's directly related to analytics, but we have lots of other centers on campus that I know our analytics students intersect with, whether that's our Center for Health and Business or you know, eh, our center for the Hoffman Center for Ethics, right? All of this comes together and have really interesting conversations at the intersection of different parts of business. So great point on that. The other piece you talked about from a resource perspective are places like our trading room. Bentley has a completely state-of-the-art trading room, which traditionally folks might think, hey, that's mostly used by our finance students. Well, as Harsh is pointing out, our analytics students absolutely are spending time in there pulling out data that they need in order to do their projects. And I think that's a really unique opportunity here at Bentley. The other thing you talked about, Harsh, that I really appreciated is Bentley's focus on the intersection of business and emerging technology. Bentley
Right.
is really at the kind of cutting edge of how is AI intersecting with our work across all business disciplines? And so that your class already immediately is integrating something like, okay, we're learning Python. We're also going to leverage AI to help us understand this problem
Mm.
is indicative of what you might face when you're actually in a business scenario. And so we're preparing you here on the ground in order to take that on. Harsh, I want to ask you one other question about the classroom. You talked a little bit about how, you and were talking to Moignac a lot during your project. Tell me about your relationship with your faculty. Luke pointed early on kind of this focus of our faculty on ensuring that you're prepared to take on the work that they're going to do. And I will say, as an outside observer, I feel like our mathematics faculty and the CIS faculty and others that teach in this program are particularly devoted to our students' success. And so I
Right.
would love for you to speak a little bit about what your relationship looks like with faculty members and how has that played out for you?
Of course. Like I also mentioned before, during the projects, we used to have these to and fro calls with our professors multiple times during the week. And it was just extremely refreshing to see how much availability professors have for their students. Because we'll write an email on Monday and we have a call on Tuesday and Thursday, and then the next week of Tuesday as well. Just these follow-up calls that professors themselves set up just so that they can see how things are going. If it's going smoothly, they'll just give us some more constructive feedback. If not, then they'll help us out from scratch. So I think that's always been refreshing. I in fact had I know Professor Luke because I set up a call with him last semester, and we never had a class together. But I just randomly emailed him one day. It was like, I'm having trouble understanding what should be my future career what should my future career path look like. And we just got on a really long call. It was supposed to be an hour, but it went on for 2 hours, and it just went off completely off the rails. And there was a lot of questions answered that day. And even today, I think Professor always takes follow-up emails with me. He also referred me for an internship um, at Dassault. And it's been extremely refreshing how the faculty works. I work as a graduate student ambassador on campus. I worked with Michelle for almost more than a year now. And it's just everybody around me is so helpful. Audra has been extremely helpful to me. She is, I think, an associate director at the Career Development Center. And I recently wanted to go for a conference at Harvard, and it's just a little out of my pocket. So I requested the Falcon Explore Fund, which funds students to go for conferences outside of campus. And Audra was very kind enough to write a letter for me immediately. And it's just being processed right now. So I think in terms of faculty and staff and everybody has been extremely, extremely supportive in terms of encouraging me and pushing me to grow, to learn skills, to you know, try out new opportunities. Like, in fact, Glycery, the previous director of graduate admissions, she just said that just like relax with your work here. You focus on your education, and like she encouraged me more to sort of go outside and network with people and learn from people and like learn in general on campus. So yeah, I think it's been exceptionally phenomenal, the support that I've gotten from you guys.
That's awesome to hear, Harsh. And I will say, Luke in particular, I don't know how he sleeps, given how much he takes on, because he doesn't, is the answer. Because he is constantly engaging with students in this way, and I can brag on him for that because I know it. He won't say it himself, but
Yeah.
he's spending time with prospective students. He's spending time with students who are here. He's spending time with alumni to make sure they're having a great experience. And Luke, I want to use this to transition us. You said something that's totally true earlier, which is, hey, we'd be doing a really bad job in this program if we weren't preparing you for your career. And that's something we really focus here at Bentley is ensuring that our curriculum is designed in that way, but also that we're advising you in the ways that you need in order to pivot after your time here. And so, Luke, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about generally what do we see our students going off and doing after being here, but then also talking about a little bit the supports that you see that make them really successful in that job search.
Okay, great. Yeah. So as I said, like our goal is to get you jobs, to launch careers. This is not a graduate program where we are trying to train you to be academics or go to PhD programs. And uh yeah, so the outcome would be some type of career where typically analyst is in the title or data scientist, and there's all types of modifiers to that: business analyst, health data analyst, marketing analyst, something like that. But you work with data in some domain. Um, let's see. So some of the tools we have here, some of the opportunities to get ready for these careers beyond, of course, the curriculum. So we have the Graduate Career Development Office, which is absolutely wonderful. We have a MSBA coach over there that will work with you from day one to help you start thinking about, okay, how do I want to specialize and stuff? Because some people show up and they're just like, yeah, I need to make money one day, honestly, and I'm excited about data. I've always liked math or stats, but I've never really thought about, you know, what type of job it would be. So just understanding what the opportunities are, kind of like the finer distinctions between different paths. And yeah, they'll work with you from day one about just thinking about your career, start getting together your resume, cover letter, LinkedIn, everything from proofreading to making sure your photo doesn't look goofy. Start applying to internships, finding ones to apply for when you are applying and doing interviews. They'll practice interviews with you all the way through getting a job. Like they see lots of offers, so they'll help you negotiate the offer. It's really a end-to-end process over there. Did I answer the question, Emma?
Yeah, absolutely. And Harsh, I'd love to hear you started speaking about this, how you've leveraged our grad career development services as well as our faculty in your pursuit of your career. Tell us a little bit more about it. I'd love to hear in detail some of the things that you've participated in that you feel like are setting you up for your career path.
So, I think, the fact that the the career fairs, the alumni engagements that the Career Development Center always hosts on campus, I think that's extremely helpful because, I think as a college student, to tap onto the alumni network, I think that's extremely helpful. So the career conversations that's going to be held in a couple of weeks now,
Mm-hmm.
and that was also held last semester in November. That was helpful in order to get idea of how the job market is right now, um, what skills are in demand in the market right now, and what kind of opportunities lie ahead, not just in the US but in the international market because alumni come from everywhere. Now, since we're gonna have a virtual conversations with them as well. So, I think that was extremely helpful what the Career Development Center did. And post these events, there's always an email sent out to us that if you want to get your resume checked and if you want to get your cover letters checked, just let us know. We're free right now. We have workshop sessions. We can also always email them or message them on Teams. And just let them know that, hey, I just need you to review my resume pretty quickly. If you have any if you have any doubts on how to start conversations in such events, there are workshop sessions to help with that as well. Last week, in fact, we had an interview prep workshop session that was hosted by Rachel White, and alumni had come over from different companies and they took a mock interview with us. So, I did with Wayfair, I did it with Dassault, and I think that was an extremely helpful platform to, sort of get an idea where you stand. Um, because it's about communicating your skills at the end of the day, and I think that's extremely important as an analytics student as well, like you guys mentioned before. So yeah, that's I think extremely helpful, but just helping with every step of this career transitioning phase. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Wonderful. Thank
Emma,
you.
there's
Yeah,
actually two things that Harsh is reminding me
please.
about. One, Harsh was mentioning recent graduates, the alumni that get involved. Bentley actually has the oldest MSBA in the Northeast. So we have a large amount of graduates, especially in the Boston area,
Mhm.
at different levels in their career. And uh, they're all so nice and engaging as well. Like people don't disappear 1, 3, 5 years after the program. Like, we're all on LinkedIn, keep hearing from them, and they absolutely love to come back to do these more formal events that Harsh is mentioning. But also, I tell current students just get on LinkedIn, start clicking around, and reach out to them. Like they are so willing to just get on Zoom and talk about their career and what's been useful and what they wish they had known. So yes, we have a very large alumni network. The other thing I forgot to mention, we have all the internal resources, the MSBA coach. We also have a professional coach. He's the former VP of analytics at DraftKings and Vistaprint. And so students, that have to work internally to make sure the resume is good and stuff first. But then you also have the opportunity to talk to someone who's more senior, an expert from industry about what direction different careers are going and what his opinion is on what would be useful.
These resources are amazing. And what Luke is saying is so true. I've never seen alums more willing to talk to current students than I have here at Bentley. People jump at the opportunity very, very earnestly to engage. And I think that's something that we certainly hear across the board and I've seen in action a lot. This is a wonderful overview of the program. Michelle, I would love you to talk a little bit about the application process as well as I see in the Q&A there's understandably some questions about scholarships and supporting people's education. So I'd love for you to share a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. And hope we by now we get you really excited and then eager to join this wonderful program. So next step, we're gonna first talk about the application process. So we will be first focusing on the things that we will need to see from your application. As you can see from the screen, the first thing that we would love to see is your resume. So we need a copy of your current resume. And also, if you have a copy of your LinkedIn profile, please do provide that link with us. If you don't have one, I would strongly encourage you to consider making one. Because as Luke and Harsh mentioned earlier, we use LinkedIn a lot. It's a very important platform for professional network where people can connect for jobs, for professional development opportunities, and it's also widely used in the US job market. And also our career development team will also coach you on how to leverage LinkedIn to build your professional brand, expand your network, and also identify career opportunities. So make sure that you have one attached within your application. Next one, we have the letter of recommendation. A very frequently asked question about this one is, do we accept academic recommendation or professional recommendation? The answer is we accept both types. So either one works for us. However, if you're working, if you have some professional work experience already, we usually encourage you to consider submitting one from your current or former supervisor. But if you're currently in school, finishing your bachelor degree program, you can go with a professor who knows you well, and you can ask for academic recommendation so that they can speak to your performance in class, your skills, and then your interest in the program. And also for the recommendation letter, we usually request at least one, but if you have more than one, you're definitely more than welcome to submit those to us within your application. Next, we will have the application essay. We require one application essay, and this is really your chance to shine. The essay really helped our admission committee to get a deeper understanding of your background, your program motivation, why you want to join our MSBA program, your career goal, and how the program can really fit into that journey. So it shows us how, also it tells us whether you have done any research about our MSBA program. There are different essay prompts for you to choose from. So when you come to the essay, you can pick the one that you would like to address. There's also a optional statement of purpose, which also gives you additional opportunity to discuss something like why you are looking to apply to Bentley now, your passion about analytics, and how you really want to use this opportunity like to advance your career. So this will be considered as an opportunity to for you to give us additional information about your background, about your personal story, something that we cannot really tell from the paper. And then the next one will be the GRE/GMAT test score. So the test score is optional in the admission process. However, if you have a valid test score, given it's a really strong test score, or if you're planning to take the test in the near future, you definitely want to consider sending the test score to us, because the GMAT or GRE will be another way for the admission committee to assess, to evaluate your quantitative skill, your readiness for the graduate level program. However, if you are unsure whether submitting a test score will help boost your application, because each person have different scenario, you can definitely schedule an admission consultation with us. We can take a look at your background, your application, and provide some honest feedback based on your application. Next, we have the English language test. So for students who are coming from countries where English is not the only primary language spoken, you will need to submit a test score. We accept TOEFL. Usually we're looking for 100 or higher. We also accept IELTS. We are looking for 7.0 or higher. And also we accept Duolingo. We are looking for a minimum of 130 as the threshold. So you are definitely more than welcome to submit the official test score within your application to demonstrate your English proficiency. In addition, if your prior degree, bachelor degree, was taught fully in English, you can also use a English letter issued by your school to request a waiver for this requirement. So we can use the letter to consider a waiver for you for the English language test requirement. The final requirement is the transcript. So if you're attending schools in the US, you can send us your unofficial transcript from all the schools that you attended at the bachelor, at the undergraduate level. And then if you really decided to accept the offer, decide to join us, then we will collect your final official transcript before you come into the program. For folks who attended the university outside the US, which is not following the US education system, we would love to see your transcript. In addition to that, we also need to see a course by course international transcript evaluation. We work with a couple of companies, evaluation companies. They help us evaluate your transcript, tell us whether your degree is equivalent to a 4-year bachelor degree in the US, and also convert those courses, the grades that you got for your undergraduate program, into the US system. So for any international transcript credentials, we will need to see this course by course international transcript evaluation within your application. Next, we will talk a little bit about financing your education. I see there's a question regarding scholarships, so we definitely want to touch on that. So there are different various financial resources that we provided to you for your master program. So from Bentley, we offer students the merit scholarships. So within the admission review process, we automatically consider students for the merit scholarship. These are the awards based on your competitiveness within the application pool, the value you can potentially bring into our MSBA program. So we will review your entire application, including just everything you submitted in your application related to your academic background, your professional work experience, your overall value to be added to the program. So we will take all those into consideration and then see how much scholarship that we can offer to you. The scholarship will be offered in the form of tuition deduction. So based on the amount of scholarship that you are getting, your tuition will be deducted by that particular amount. And the majority, as you can see, about 85% of our students enroll into our graduate programs receive some kind of merit scholarship. And again, this is merit-based. It's purely based on your strength, the strength of your application. So the stronger your application, the greater chance you will get higher amount of scholarship. One other type of scholarship available is called graduate assistantship. So for our full-time students who are applying for the full term, Bentley also offered this a number of graduate assistantship positions starting from the fall semester. This is a guaranteed on-campus employment. So student will get up to 1 year on-campus job. They will be able to work in jobs related to research academics and administrative roles. And then students within the role, they can work up to 15 hours per week during the fall and spring semester. And then in addition to the graduate assistantship, there are also other on-campus jobs available. We do have a lot of opportunities for on-campus employment. So if you receive an on-campus job, you can work additional maybe 5 hours per week during the semester, so that you can utilize those opportunities to help offset partially of the graduate school cost. And beyond Bentley, there are also different kinds of external funding resources that you can explore. Such as like a tuition remission reimbursement. Some company really offer great tuition benefit to their employee. So definitely check with your company on that. And there are also grant loans opportunities offered by different organizations, government agencies, foundations. So we definitely encourage you to explore all those opportunities and then utilize those opportunities towards your graduate study. And finally, let's talk about the application deadline. We are currently accepting application for the fall 2026 for our MSBA program. The semester usually starts in September. If you are an international student who have never been issued an F1 visa, the final application deadline for you to submit your application will be June 1st. For domestic and civil transfer students who are currently on an F1 visa, the final deadline for you to submit application will be August 1st. But never wait until the last minute to apply, because if you apply late in the application cycle, we may have already offer the scholarship, offer up all the scholarship spot, or like the program maybe have already filled up. We are no longer accepting applications. So definitely make sure that you apply early so that you can plan out your graduate school also in advance. And then there are also additional ways that you can reach out to us. If you have any questions during the admission process, do not hesitate to reach out to us. We'll be happy to walk you through the process and help you to navigate the process. Yeah.
Thanks,
So much.
Michelle. I think that's incredibly helpful. And what Michelle just said at the end, which is that we want to support you as an individual through this process, is incredibly important. I was just looking at the Q&A, and Luke is advising one of our friends on the line about not even his program, right? He's suggesting, hey, maybe you want to talk to someone about the MSA. And actually, Michelle's a great person to talk to about the MSA, by the way. But I actually think it's indicative of how Bentley works. We really want to get to know you as an individual. One of Luke's fellow mathematics faculty talks a lot about how Bentley in the classroom, and Harsh spoke to this too. You're really an individual. We're going to support you personally. We're going to figure out what you need. That starts in the admissions process. And so we really want an opportunity to talk to you, to learn about what you're thinking about, how you're considering your degree, and then just like Luke was doing, helping you navigate, is this the right program for you? Is a different program the right program for you? And how can we best support your career aspirations? I see in the chat we also have a question about scholarships. I know Michelle did a wonderful job responding to that. Certainly, if folks have other specific questions, we would love for you to put them in the Q&A. While we're waiting to see if there's any other great Q&A, Luke, I'd love for you to share kind of big picture, what makes a student successful in our program?
Well, first and foremost, enthusiasm, curiosity about data, excitement about an analytics career. When people are enthusiastic and excited, kind of, the effort and everything follows. So, yeah, if using data to make, better decisions in businesses sounds like a good career. then we can work with you. Like I said, we have people from different backgrounds, different skill levels coming in, and it's one of the strengths of the programs where you can learn from different people, and we kind of start from the ground floor and get you ready to launch your career.
Awesome. And Harsh, I'm curious if you could tell us um, kind of a story that exemplifies your Bentley experience. What's a key moment that you haven't gotten to talk about yet that you think folks on the line should hear about that helps them understand what Bentley is like?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. A story. I'm not really a storyteller.
It doesn't have to be a
But
story, or it can just be some details of your
okay.
experience that you think are important.
Of course, fair. I think we pretty much covered everything already. I think, like you guys mentioned, and like Professor just said, I think the the enthusiasm, the curiosity, and I feel the excitement to make a career in analytics. I think
Mm,
that's I think pretty much sums everything up because I feel at Bentley. We're just managing so many things. We're all doing part-time jobs. We're all doing classes. We're all doing assignments. We are networking with people. We're going out there, attending events on campus, off campus. We're working at student organizations. Like I have worked at the Bentley Analytics Society and the Graduate Marketing Organization. We have multiple such student organizations. There's always something going on campus. Sometimes we just get a little tired and we run away to student center where we have table tennis and pool and we just spend some time over there. And I think it's just this experience that we all students are in this together and it's a team effort and it's not about how I feel like you as an individual or anybody, me, all of you guys, I think we all cannot succeed without a little support from others. And I feel that has been an highlight, always. Like, Glycery just coming and asking me to chill out with the work and just focus more on your academics and just professor getting on a call with me multiple times and I think that just a team effort. My other colleagues, I see them giving their best. I sometimes I'm inspired by a lot of my colleagues around me, whether they're my flatmates, whether it's people working at admissions or my classmates, just people doing so many things. It's just that zest, that ambition, that excitement that they have to do multiple things at the same time has gotten me so far because I never imagined I'll wake up in the morning, get done with my job, and then I'll have a class to attend, and then I will have an assignment to do. Then I have to cook and clean and everything by myself. It was very difficult to imagine that I was capable of doing it. But then I see people around me and they're doing such great things. And that just really inspires me. So I think that I would really really love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I think both of you are pointing to the Bentley community has a real energy and there's a real focus. There's a directedness about what success looks like. As Luke is saying, there's earnest desire to inflect change in businesses through the lens of analytics, and our that comes out of our students in all these ways that Harsh is talking about. As I mentioned before, I really, really urge you to be in touch with us. Michelle talked about this as well. This second QR code allows you to set up a consultation. And what that means is basically an individual meeting with our team to talk about what you're curious about, your consideration set, what your goals are, and so we can support you. Harsh, as he mentioned, is one of our grad admissions ambassadors, and so you can find a time to chat with Harsh. We can talk to Michelle. We can talk to some of our other colleagues, and so I really urge you to spend some time if you're interested in this program, letting us know you so that we can best support you. I'm also going to point you in the direction of our YouTube channel. where we have a lot of other content similar to this, but that introduces different elements of the program. So we have programming about if you're entering Bentley because you want to launch your career, how does Bentley support you? If you're career changing, how does Bentley support you? We have sample classes there so you can see what business education and particularly business education at Bentley is like. And so I'm going to urge you to keep engaging with us, finding ways to learn more about our program. But until then, I will thank you so much for joining us this morning. I will give huge thanks to Luke and Harsh and Michelle for sharing such important information. And I really look forward to seeing you all in our inbox or in our consultation set as you consider the program. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you,
Thanks, everyone.
everyone.